have a choice. If you want to learn more about some Aerie, the background of Aerie and such, then it gives you that lore. It dumps you right back to the right track. See, it's just getting more, it's just more annoying now. Like, I feel like, alright, don't take this the wrong way, but I feel like the game has overstayed its welcome, if you can understand that. Like, I like this game. It was really fucking fun. I loved the grind, the customization, everything. The story even pretty good too. But I feel like having the player just loop that often, it's kind of like, I want to move on. Like right now, the only thing stopping me from putting Bravely second, like to be a real contender for the next game to be played, is just that I fear it's going to have this same kind of design into it of just play this section of the game 3 times now to understand more of the story that the characters do not ever want to communicate. So I guess this is what you meant. Last time when I asked about how long it would take to beat this game, this is what you meant. You knew I was gonna do this, and you knew it was gonna dump me into this ending and be like, oh yeah, it's not the real one. But no, if I get credits, it's the end. I'm just gonna be done.
There it is. The Dark Aurora. Is Aerie inside? But how do we...
Look! A magic circle on the cliff's edge. It may offer a way in.
All right! If everyone's ready, let's go after Aerie!
Like, I really kind of do feel like I'm cheating the viewers if I don't play the game to, like, it's done. Not completion, but just it's done. True credits and all, this game, for at least me, has overstayed its welcome. If I see credits, I'm taking it as credits, and I'm putting up the vote for the next game. And odds are, Bravely Second's not going to be on that vote if I'm being honest.
So, you survived, obstinate insects. Still, your luck is my good fortune. You've left me to wait 5,000 years while the next crystal grows. At least I will have your shrieks of lamentation to pass the time.
So you got... Oh, wait, so if you do it that in the first area, it just doesn't matter at all? That's why you guys were telling me to just, like, go ahead and do it. Alright. The Genji armor's not even as good. Another Mega Elixir? New item at least? It is. Raises maximum HP by 1,000. Alright. If I wanted to, I could use that to free up Hermes Sandals, and then I would not have to use HP up, and I can use speed 20. It's effectively the same thing. Or it feels like it probably would be. spell. That's probably strength up. That, I think, is new. It's not! What the hell? Alright. The team does listen. Proof for that is how they responded to Bravely Default from second Tu's demo survey. Huh. Well, I'm still kind of just unsure about that for the naming scheme alone. From Bravely Default to Bravely Second to Bravely Default 2. And I'm just not sure which one's the actual sequel and which one is just using a strange name. I think you guys explained to me that Bravely Second is meant to be a sequel, and Bravely Default 2 you guys haven't really touched on because I guess the game's not out. Wait. Another Bloodblade? Why not Bravely Third Beyond Me? Because Bravely Eighth would sound too bad of a title when they eventually got to it. Because odds are they might turn this into another Final Fantasy game if they run out of, if Final Fantasy goes like into too high of number status. You gotta know at some point they're not gonna go into Final Fantasy. I say they're gonna stop before 20. And at that point, what do? Remake? Do nothing but remake for the Final Fantasy? No, you gotta have another system and series to start milking that hard. So, Bravely Default. Wait. Is that actually? That is the genuine ribbon. Nice. Nullifies almost all status ailments, aside from the ones that the game deems necessary to make a fight difficult. Yeah, Octopath Traveler is on the vote if people want to see that, but like it's up to you guys to vote it. The vote's gonna be a very congested one though. There's a lot of games on there that I want to play that all of you guys want to see, and it's up to what gets the most votes. You got maybe Bravely Second will go on it. You have Fire Emblem Three Houses. You have what's it called? Probably Persona 4 Golden on there as well. You have what other ones were there? Like some of the other game requests that people have given me. You have Texas Advance if we want to do that again as well. There's a number that to go through. Just which one do you want to see more? Funny enough, I have not really played any numbered Final Fantasy games that are, strictly speaking, good. My history with Final Fantasy is a very strange one because I have mostly played the ones that are not considered Final Fantasy games, despite having Final Fantasy in the name. For example, would you consider Dirge of Cerberus a Final Fantasy game? Because I played that one. That was one of my first Final Fantasy games right there. And I gotta tell you, it does not make you ready for a fucking thing the game throws at you anywhere else that has Final Fantasy in the name. It's my guilty pleasure. Only because they had gagged for some of the soundtrack, and that was just abnormally good. No, like my history of Final Fantasy largely stems from Dirge of Cerberus, Crisis Core, Tactics Advance and Final Fantasy 13. Those are only the ones I played until I started streaming. And when I started streaming, they suggested that I play World Final Fantasy. And that felt like what I honestly thought a Final Fantasy game should be. That's what made me interested in checking out games like Bravely Default when everyone confirmed it, or sort of said, it's Final Fantasy without the title, so I wanted to go into it. And this sort of brought that down with how the story was kind of handled. In the Nerd Service after Advent Children, I gotta tell you, I don't remember at all. Like, Dirge of Service is in this strange part of my mind where I remember playing it. I remember the story being not good. I remember there being a couple of songs by Gact in there, Redemption being the biggest one. And I remember at some point in the game, I was shooting a toy gun because it dealt the most damage. And I do not remember anything that ties all of it together. I still remember even playing Crisis Core. My friends, I let him borrow my copy of the game because he just wanted to play it. He loved it. And then when he gave it back to me, he gave me one hint. For a boss I could not beat, there was this one boss. It was one of the super bosses in Crisis Core. I couldn't beat it for the life of me. So I let him play it while I played other games. He came back to me and said, dude, you were going at the boss all wrong. Never understood what he meant until he just told me the hint. Use the skill that throws your money. You have more money than the boss has HP. You'll win that way. And I did. It took me, I think, about I want to say 10 to 15 minutes, but I did. Remember that just being a joke of a thing. Now let's see. Before Crisis Core is a game. Before Crisis is a game. Really? And I'm gonna stalling. Only kind of. Only kind of.
Eri! Is this truly you that stands before me? Can you not change back to the fairy we knew? Yes, how can you not see it now?
Show her no opening. She'll wield it against you.
But, Eri, did you truly intend for this to happen all along? Tell me it's not so. What of our fateful meeting? Our travels together? Do such things mean nothing to you? If we could go back, if you could turn back into...
What now?
Eri? That was Eri's voice! Yes!
Don't tell me.
Help me! It's taking control! Can't fight! Eri!
Is that what you hope to hear?
No!
Humans? Bah! What dull, foolish creatures! Lowly life forms incapable of learning! And a crystal Vesta was the worst of the lot. How easy it was to deceive you in the form of a cute little fairy! You repeat the same mistake world after world. Then, too, you trusted me to the very end, denying the truth before your eyes.
No!
At least you're not squealing like stuck pigs this time. Though that's hardly progress.
Eri! In countless worlds you've deceived us! Slain countless innocents! And it is true, I've been a fool the whole while. I still wish for us to be friends, somehow. But I am done playing the fool! We will break this chain! This cycle of misery across thousands upon thousands of worlds!
Now, is this a cutscene battle or not? Let's examine you and be ready. Okay, that was just 11 hits right there. Interesting. Miss, bitch. All right, let's get this show started. Like a majestic phoenix. How would you guys describe 13 Sentinels? For what I've seen, it's pretty different from other Vanillaware games. It is! We are not done with the game playing. We're not done playing that game yet. But I agree with Angelo in saying it is my game of the year for 2020. Out of all the games I've played that were released this year, it's the top. It's got a stellar story, very good voice acting in English. Its gameplay does not need to be as deep as it is. It really doesn't. And it came out in 2019 for the Japanese release. The US and West worldwide got it in 2020. I know it's not going to do it more than it can right there, but still. Dale duro. Really?
No other warriors of light have pressed me so far.
Really, game?
But how will you stand up to this? How many worlds has it been since last I took this form? Hundreds of thousands of years have passed without the need. It feels a bit foreign yet, but no matter. Now, you mightiest of all warriors of light, face the full extent of my power.
And you kept us at our current stats. I think I'm actually happy about that. I mean, we're just gonna get any free damage we can right now. Nullify ailments and then stillness. Still don't know how much HP it has.
My father and Master Kami Izumi warned us of you. Now, too late. I see the fool I've been.
Those who act by emotion are the easiest to master. I pity your father. To know him, only to be thwarted by his own daughter.
I ought to have seen through you sooner. I knew of your evils. I ought have...
You style yourself a hero. Arrogant. You did nothing but stand in all my might.
I...
More styling. Wait.
I'll never forgive you for violating Agnes' trust!
Always the same. Always about Agnes. I hate that about you most of all.
We first met on that precipice, overlooking the great chasm. You had come forth from the chasm's depths, but you had only just slain us. Our blood had yet to dry.
Indeed, you have served me well. Now, die a bitter death, knowing you served your enemy.
Unacceptable!
Ah, you poor fool. Actually, yeah, it got weaker. The boss got weaker in its second form. Interesting. Lower HP, higher stats, more skills. I can notice that at least right now as well, yeah. It does little because she gave us an Omni weak, but we can Omni negate elements, so that I can do that in a second. That'll be hilarious. Hold up. Time to get angry. Oh, it does? Oh, that sucks.
quite tenacious, aren't we? But all your efforts shall be in vain.
Okay, that's how they're gonna cheese this fight. Gotcha. Oh, I forgot to activate Drain. Shit. Ain't that about a bitch? I mean, I might as well? This command strike, but he can't do as much damage, still funny enough. Alright, now we can hurt. Forget about anything else she can do. Congrats on AI breaking itself. I love things like this. It's just great.
You shall know your place.
Oh yeah, if there's a random uncheat, we are all gonna fall
What
apart.
happens? How are they different from the last? Warriors of the light, man, mere mortals, pawns. You shall pay dearly for this defiance.
Look at all those points I need.
My arms, my legs, they fade. So foreign this feeling. Is this defeat? Am I to simply vanish now, after 1,100 million years and myriad worlds? What absurd creatures are the race of man? You have won nothing in my defeat. But the great warriors of light are blind even to that. The day will come when all boundaries shatter and his advent comes to pass. Know that I am but an emissary, a humble servant of his. Lord Ouroboros, I have failed in the task you saw fit to give me. Yet still, I pray that in some distant age hence, your malevolence will yet cross over from the beyond.
I'm sorry, hold up. Did she just say Ouroboros in a different name? That kind of caught me for a second there.
Is it truly over?
I believe so.
I never expected our journey to end like this.
I wonder if we succeeded in giving hope to anyone.
Of that, I am certain. But it cost the lives of far more than we have heartened. It is still hard to fathom that the rite of awakening was an act of worldly destruction.
The crystals are still raging out of hand. If we don't restore them to their natural state... What now?
It's going to collapse!
That's our cue. Hurry, everyone, run!
Look! It's fading away!
Wait, what? How?
Lord DeRosso and the Sage? Here? Together? What's brought you here?
Agnes, Tiz, Idea, ring a bell? You have done well.
1800 years have passed since the angel's revelation. And now at last this evil has been severed at its roots. I marvel at the power of youth. I doubt yours is a feat we could have managed.
Now, leave the rest to these two old men.
Indeed, for you have obligations elsewhere.
We do?
The great chasm links all the worlds through which you have journeyed.
Now that the evil one is defeated, it will begin to close. You must each return to the worlds you wish, ere it shuts for good.
The worlds we wish?
This world is a mirror of the one you were born in. But only that. A reflection. You are free to remain nonetheless, or to return to the worlds whence you came.
The choice is yours, but it would seem there's little time to deliberate.
The chasm has begun to close sooner than I had anticipated.
Now, quickly, children. If you would return, make haste. There's no time. You've saved this world and those beyond. Return home with your heads held high.
Thank you for all you've done.
Sage, is that not quite enough?
Just a little longer. This is the last we'll meet.
She may not welcome such affection, and Tiz is staring daggers at you.
Bah, you people are no fun. Well, farewell to you, my angel.
May we meet again, though it may be a different me that greets you.
I will be forever grateful. Oh, the chasm is closing. Look, it stopped. They've secured us a road home. I sense the tremendous force of their magic at work.
Well, ring a bell? Let's go. Dats, Zats, and the proprietress are waiting.
All right, everyone, hold on tight.
Wait, they can hold the seams of the world open. How could they not have helped?
They've gone?
It would seem so, and with nary a look back.
It was a long battle.
Indeed it was. After 2,500 years, the battle is over at last.
I guess this is the ending. Not the true one, as I've been told constantly, but it's our ending. With this, my obligation toward playing the game to its completion is technically done. It was a good game. I enjoyed it. It did feel like what I thought Final Fantasy would be. It reminded me of World of Final Fantasy up until roughly chapter what? I want to say like 3 to 4-ish. Then it started to grade on a bit. The story started to have more holes than Swiss cheese. And then, you know, after the 3rd loop of the story, I just kind of said, I kind of want to see the credits. And it is also incredibly rubbing me the wrong way that after all of that, after everything that has happened so far, and even the game going over itself to say, have the courage to disobey, young one, and then changing the fucking title screen to say Airy lies. All of that to say that she's the one that's been lying to you, disobey her, to now saying, oh, that gets you not the true ending, so sucks for you then, I guess. It just feels like a slap in the face. It punishes the player for thinking deeply and kind of realizing, yeah, that's the source of a lot of things. Where if I had not done that, I would have had the privilege of playing through that story a bit longer. And right now, in the moment, I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing. When I started this game out, though, it was a solid like 9 to 8.5. It was just entertaining and fun. Pretty good. At the credits right now, I want to say it probably still holds a bit of that rating, but it's dropped a couple of points. I would say this game is a solid, what? 6.5 to 7. Above average, it's a pretty good time, and it's got some memorable moments, but that's about where I would sort of stop it. And for those that are going to compare it to other rating systems, for me, a 5 is average. That's a use of time, not good, not especially memorable, but not bad either. For me, anything above a 5 is something to consider or at least look at. And for me, a 6.5 to 7 feels like it's about right. It's got some strong points and some clever things going for it, but there were a bit too many things that sort of detracted from it and made me not in this game with like a grin ear to ear and hoping for the sequel. I'm still probably down to play the sequel if people say it's good enough and has a lot of improvements, but I'm probably going to put it on the back burner for a little bit. Maybe 1 or 2 games done before, and then we'll look at it. Besides, the game backlog is growing ever larger. I have no shortage of games that are asking for me to be played by you guys, and I probably should get to them at some point. They always wanted you to get this ending than the training, I guess. That... You see, I could see that argument. I really could.
It all must begin with me.
Oh, they're gonna show her traveling back and how? To see DeRosso and Yoyana to do all that?
We've returned, Your Highness.
I hadn't dared to hope, but the Warrior of Light returns. A feast! A feast for our hero!
I'm trying to think back to other games that had the player have to get one ending before they could see another one. And I feel like that was Disgaea. And Disgaea handled it much better because not only was the tone sort of primed for it, but also
I'll
just...
see your ideals given form, Father. I swear.
It did not have a finality to it that sort of said, this is the end. Nier Automata is another good example. They sort of always had the expectancy that you're gonna see more. But this feels like it was sort of the game that was meant to be like, yep, here's the ending. By the way, it's not the better ending that you want, but it's yours. Have fun with it. I still haven't played many Yoko Taro games. I've only ever played Nier Automata. I've thrown the idea in my head that I might want to play the Drakengard series, but I've heard nothing good about Drakengard. Aside from the third one, I've heard that it's interesting and that the final boss is the worst thing to ever be designed. We'll resume before the attempt to destroy the crystal. And for months till I forgot. What does that? Memories are muddled. I feel like it is like that. Onions can now equip the Vestial Garb? I guess? And yeah, you see what I mean? Airy lies! It's like the game's trying to tell you, by the way, this thing here is a pretty big thing that we've been hinting at heavy-handedly for the last 2 chapters. My main disappointment is that you are not going to experience any challenges. The final boss battles are high synergy team battles. BP, spam team, fire spam team, guard the DPS team. All of these are great boss fights. Too bad the multiple loops put a damper. I really hoped that wouldn't screw too much, but it was a main criticism. Like some people said, fuck it, the instant the second loop happened. Sadly, I feel like they were going for an experience rather than fun. And that's a key thing and a good argument and debate to have. Games that go for an experience to be had, even if it detracts from entertainment and enjoyment for the moment to tell a grander story. A couple games have done that, and I think I want to remember... It's hard for me to pull ones up that have done that, but I think I've streamed a handful of them. And they work well, but there is a valley between success and failure, and that is just full of muddled emotions. The character in the story can't be smarter than the writer. I know that feel. Like, it's an ongoing joke that I've been able to call the ending of a lot of the games that I've played because I've played enough of them that I can sort of understand what a writer would go for. Doesn't mean I know how to make them any better than the writer would, that's paid to do it, but I just know a couple of tropes and I know the holes that they will fall into. And this game fell into very few, I want to say, actually. But what it lacked in sort of predictable plot, it made up for in predictable characters. And some very, very stupid moments. I'm willing to say I don't want to end the stream 2 hours early. So, I'm going to leave it a vote to you guys. No. Let's give you a vote. This will decide all of it. Alright, you got 2 minutes. Vote. We're going to see... I'm going to put him in your guys' hands. Do you want to see the next ending and have me experience what I guess the game fully did to see if it actually redeems it? Or do you want to say that credits is credits? We've seen credits, the game is done, and it's time to move on. Granted, Nier Automata did not have this sort of encounter because the game made it very obviously clear that you're meant to experience multiple credits, and the credits that you see aren't even finalized, and the game says, very purposely, you're meant to play this thing multiple times. I'm curious what you guys feel, and I'm willing to go for either. And it might even make my mood better for the game, who knows? But it also could drag it down so much more if it's just handled poorly. I'm curious. We got 2 hours, so let me get my lunch right now. Hold up a second. Alright. Coming back with the finest of cuisines for lunch in the middle of the day. I got a single Reese's cup. My work was selling these things for like $1.25 for a bag of, I want to say, like 40 Reese's cups, so I'm gonna eat like a king. Yes, MK Fan, a king. This Reese's peanut butter cup. It's the gift of the gods. for someone that doesn't have much money like me. All right, poll ended. We have 2 hours. All right, one moment. Oh, a lot of chocolate. And peanut butter. All right. Let's see what else this game has to offer then.